Bloody Mary. You may have been asked to play this game at a sleepover with friends, or dared at school to go home and chant her name several times into a dim mirror late at night. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Tonight, Levi and I will try this daring game for itself, to debunk it once and for all, to see if this game is truly real or some urban myth that morphed over the ages to scare those at sleepover parties. First, of course, let's look at the origins behind Bloody Mary, because it turns out this dark game was vaguely based off real people, though folklore can't seem to decide which one. So we're briefly going to look at all three, starting with Mary Tudor, also known as Queen Mary I of England. Mary Tudor was the firstborn unwanted child of King Henry, being that she wasn't a boy and had no claim to the throne. Mary was separated from her mother at 17, and when her mother passed, she was not even allowed to visit her, creating a huge tear in Mary's life. Her father, King Henry, remarried and had yet another daughter, Elizabeth, much to Henry's annoyance. Mary was transferred from being a princess to being put on duties to care for her baby sister. Despite the odds, Mary actually became England's first Queen Regent in 1553. At age 37, she married and fell pregnant. The excitement grew to dismay as the months started dragging on and no baby was arriving. Strangely, her belly was now starting to shrink. Horrible rumours quickly spread among the people, and Mary was at the end of her tether. In her frustrated state, she took a stand against the English Reformation, executing 283 people and being renamed by many to Bloody Mary. Years later, Mary tried to conceive again but failed, and her sister took the throne. Weak and in pain, Mary died in 1558, longing for the child she was never given. It's said groups in the courtyard got together and would chant Bloody Mary, expecting to summon her again, holding the child that was never born. The next perpetrator is the Blood Countess, Elizabeth Báthory. She lived between the period of 1560 to 1614. She was well known for bathing in the blood of young girls, believing it would preserve her youth. She was married to a Hungarian war hero who likely witnessed the horrific acts himself. For 6 long years, the Blood Countess ran rampant, slaughtering all adolescent girls the local village had, leading her to look further afield. Her husband had since passed and decided that in order to prey on more adolescents, she could offer courtly education to more wealthy daughters of higher families. Of course, upon arrival, all they gained was an untimely death. But doing so seemed this was where the Blood Countess messed up, as the King of Hungary launched an investigation into her and her estate. The investigation found atrocities one could not even imagine. Torture to these young girls included mutilation, burned alive, and even cannibalism. Elizabeth was arrested along with 4 other accomplices. Those that helped were torched and burned at the stake, while the Blood Countess was walled up in her own castle with no way of escape. Elizabeth died in the very place she committed these horrendous acts. Many believed Elizabeth Báthory became Bloody Mary to find countless more adolescents to bathe in their blood. Our last perpetrator jumps to 1860. Mary Worth lived in Illinois within an extremely small cabin in the woods. She would tend to her flowers, weed her gardens, create tinctures and herbal remedies, as well as sell them to the local villagers that fell ill or needed to rid a disorder. Unfortunately, locals were very wary of Worth and didn't like to get too close to her or her cabin, as they feared she would lay a curse on them or their livestock. Those that did accept her remedies were also heavily shunned. As the years passed, young girls began to go missing in the village, and despite looking everywhere, no leads were ever found. Village folk started to believe Mary Worth had involvement and confronted her at her home. Worth denied any involvement at all, yet the villagers were not convinced, as they believed Worth looked like she was getting younger instead of being the old person she was. One night, the miller's daughter was captivated by a mysterious sound that only she could hear. Luckily, the miller's wife was up with a bad toothache and noticed her daughter walking into the woods. She screamed in horror to her husband, who screamed at his daughter to come back, but the daughter didn't hear her father's cries, almost like she was in some trance. The miller and his wife gathered the local townspeople and followed where his daughter went, finally coming across a bright light. The villagers realized it was Mary Worth's cabin, and right there, holding some stick out, was Mary Worth. The villagers instantly accused her of being a witch and gunned her down. They took her while she was still alive, kicking and screaming, tied her to a stake and burned her alive at a bonfire. As she burned, she cursed the villagers to never go near mirrors and utter her name. If they were to do so, she'd exact revenge on any that dared. Many other stories surround who Bloody Mary actually was, from a beautiful hitchhiker that was murdered to a witch in the Salem witch trials who was burned at the stake. But we're not going to go into any more of these stories at the moment. Regardless of Bloody Mary, mirrors have always been associated throughout history, whether it's through folklore, books, or rumours about these strange mystical beings from these other worlds. In recent times, the talk has been the world of the paranormal. Take ancient Rome for example. Diviners known as blindfolded boys would gaze into mirrors to experience hallucinations of the future. It was believed Julian the Apostate was prophesied using the technique. Scrying is one of the oldest types of divination through mirrors ever found, starting in China in 3000 BC, then later appearing in Egypt and Greece. Scrying was one's way of looking into mirrors for a glimpse into the past or future, or even seek lost objects or people. Mirrors have also been hugely feared in some cultures, getting covered after one's death so the dead cannot harm the living by entering the physical world through them, as they acted as gateways. Thinking about all this, it's no wonder mirrors are hugely associated with humankind and the mystery throughout the ages. Now, science has actually been involved with this urban legend as well. A study conducted by Dr. Caputo of the University of Urbino asked participants to stare into a dimly lit mirror for 10 minutes. 66% of these participants actually saw deformations in their face, while others saw unknown people appear in the mirror, as well as monstrous beings. It's interesting because what science says people are seeing is an illusion or effect that the brain creates called the Troxler effect. This was discovered by physician Ignaz Troxler in 1804. Stare at a certain point for too long and the outside areas seem to fade and morph. This is because the brain actually deems these outer areas worthless and irrelevant. So this would honestly explain why people are seeing strange things in the mirror when they're doing the Bloody Mary challenge.
So what are we going to be saying here? Because everybody has different theories of what they see.
Many rumours about Bloody Mary, heaps of friggin' rumours. People say that you see Bloody Mary appear in the mirror after you chanted her name and she'll have blood dripping down her face. And then others have said that you actually see yourself in the mirror, but there is blood dripping down your face. Other rumours have said that Bloody Mary will actually jump out of the mirror and attack you. People have claimed to be scratched, people have been claimed to have their eyes removed, people have claimed to even have their soul ripped out of their body. Other rumours as well that Bloody Mary actually follows you. So once you've chanted her name, nothing happens. And then you'll go away and get on with your life and she starts to haunt you and, you know, it becomes absolute mischief in your life, gives you absolute total bad luck. To be honest, how many demons or ghosts do you think we've encountered at this point? We're just adding this one to our list at this point, you know?
None of this weak I've been the one.
Well, okay, I'll put me, just me.
Yes.
I'll leave you out of it.
Yeah, leave me out of it, you know?
Anyway, it's almost midnight, so we'll get on with this challenge. Let's go. Alright, I'm just going to hit time NZ so you guys can see that it's midnight. Hit the refresh on there. See? Exactly 12 AM. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. I summon you. I can see a little like distortion.
What kind of distortion?
Like my mouth's kind of fading and my eyes are kind of moving towards my forehead a bit. Now my eyebrows are fading away.
Snapchat filter in real life be like?
It's something like that. I'm trying. It's so hard because I blink so much. Yeah, it's gone all dark, it's blurry and dark. Like my face, it's just real dark.
As in there's a shadow over it?
Yeah, like a shadow's cast over it, and now it's kind of morphing, like almost like it's flowing in a morph. I'm trying not to blink. Where's Bloody Mary? I was waiting for Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary, where are you? Come on, I'll be waiting for you. I'm going to show the viewers. You.
I don't want to breathe too much because I'm worried that I'm going to blow some of these out. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, I summon you. Yeah, the end of my nose is kind of moving out of my face. The hardest part is I've already got a broken nose, so I don't know if what I'm seeing is distortion or if it's just my broken nose.
Yeah.
The circles around my eyes where you usually have a black eye are going very white, and these parts here are very black, almost like bruising, almost reverse bruising.
Is there like a shadow that's cast over your face, or?
No, there is, but I can tell that it's just light. It's just the lighting we have. So this part of my nose was sitting over here, slowly drifting across. These parts under my eyes, we usually have bags, were just white as could be, and then under here was pure jet black. So instead of having like black eyes, I had black down here, and white underneath the eyes.
So it kind of distorted, but did all these funny little tricks.
Yeah, it was a slight distortion, but nothing too unique.
We'll try the other method, where they believe if you do it 13 times, because you know the bad number 13, you'll summon her. So I'll give that one a go. Bloody Mary, 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 I summon you. Yeah, it's just the distortion again. Quite funny, I can hear the neighbours outside.
Bring them in and get them in the chair. I found it really hard to focus on one point. So I was looking at the end of my nose. I could see my whole nose, but because my nose is broken, it was...
Yep, I just saw it. So it looked like a different face on my face.
Right.
It was pretty out of it. It looked like it was almost someone else's face, and that's the effect that the brain gives. It confuses itself because it's so focused on that point. It just starts blurring out.
Yeah.
And this is why the Bloody Mary challenge is so effective, because people do it and they stare at the mirror, and then this is what's happening is they're starting to see that illusion, and it freaks people out. Right, so this one I basically turn around on the spot 13 times. This is the last one. Apparently people do it. Okay. Bloody Mary. 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 Bloody Mary, I summon you. Bro, I can't even see the mirror at this point, I'm just getting out. I feel like I'm like 8 years old. That's right. There were other, people saying, you run water and stuff, but it's been raining out there and I can hear the gutter running water, so there's water running, everybody. That's debunking Bloody Mary. There it is, everybody.
Now, we can finally say that the urban legend of Bloody Mary is officially debunked. Making use of the Troxler illusion, it seems Mary has survived the test of time and will continue to scare the crap out of people alike at sleepover parties for years to come.